Long before any pretty girls ever caught me staring at them, whitetail bucks were busting me sneaking peeks from my tree stand. Archery hunting whitetail deer during the rut was my first love, and I suspect the sweetheart of American outdoorsmen across the country. The frosty mornings in the tree stand, late night blood trails by headlamp, and the chance to watch deer be deer is a seductive notion to any hunter. The thing about love, though, it can lead to heartbreak. Come along with Luke and I on this episode of Midwest Outdoor Chasers as we pursue lovesick bucks in hope of getting an opportunity at Mr. Right. We are a group of guys from the heartland pursuing our passion in nature. We don't do it because it's easy, and we don't do it because it's comfortable. We do it because something deep within us calls us to connect with our roots, step into the circle of life, and to push ourselves to our limits. It's not just the hunt, it's the experience, and it's what makes us who we are. We are the Midwest Outdoor Chasers.
It's October 7th. It's the first time out deer hunting this year. As you can see, their leaves are still on. It's very early in the season. We haven't had a frost yet. I've got a buck and a doe tag. So unless a big buck walks by, I probably won't shoot a buck, but I'll shoot the first doe I get a crack at. We had a cold front move through last night, so hopefully that'll have them moving later into the morning. See what happens. This morning, it was a lot calmer and cooler this morning. The wind has picked up a lot, but I think that's to our advantage. The wind will cover our movements and our sound, and help things to be a little more forgiving in our favor. It's kind of coming right in my face, kind of across our setup from left to right, which is perfect because most of the deer bedding is off that way. So our hope is they're going to come this way. There's standing corn off over there. So hopefully they'll try to get to that corn and feed. But then again, I don't know how much the deer want to be in standing corn in the wind. That's deer hunting. It's always a guessing game as to what the deer are going to do. All we can do is just spend as much time in the stand as we can and hope that an opportunity comes along.
Well, win some, lose some. We had a nice doe come in tonight. Came in behind us where I wasn't really anticipating a shot. Hadn't really took any ranges to see the distance. I did a real quick range. Came up with 35 yards. I settled my pin. She's starting to spook. I took my 30-yard pin and held it a little high and shot. And I don't know what happened. The arrow from the video looks like it went really low. The knock actually came out of the back of the arrow. I would like to say I hit a branch. It's not out of the realm of possibility that I just made a bad shot. But thankfully it was a clean miss, which is really a blessing because there's nothing worse than wounding a deer and having no hope of recovering it. So all in all, good night. Probably gonna hit the range with the bow a little bit, make sure it's still dialed in, just to make sure it wasn't my error. So we got a lot of season left. It's only halfway through October, so I'm not too discouraged.
October now. The weather has changed. It's gotten much colder. A lot of the leaves have come down. They picked the corn all around this property. It was set to be a really good morning so far. We had several deer working around us. We had a doe working in, and then she turned around, and we couldn't really tell why, and we looked, and there was a coyote coming in from an angle I was not really prepared to shoot from. I took a couple pokes at that coyote, but I'm pretty sure I missed. Woo! It was a cool encounter. I need to quit wasting my arrows, so I still think there's a lot of hope. We haven't really ruffled too many feathers in the woods yet.
Was looking like a promising morning. The buck that we saw gave us the slip. He was a decent one. Definitely wouldn't pass up on him. But yeah, that's bow hunting. It's the most primal version of hunting, and it just makes it that much more rewarding when you do get one. So activity's going up, and it's only going to go up until about, I like to say peak is about November 11th, and it's October 30th, so I mean, I'll be hitting it hard next 2 weeks. Season's just beginning. Hopefully the next time we come out we have better luck.
Well, it's not shaping up to be my dream season. Let's see, I missed a doe, wounded a coyote, and now this morning I wounded a good doe, a big doe. I just hit her high, just 4 inches too high, and I thought maybe there was some hope. She ran off into the trees, and then 20 minutes later we saw her trotting across this CRP field with the arrow kind of like 80% sticking out of her, and she was trotting like nothing. Like, she was totally fine. We went and looked for blood for a good 45 minutes here. We couldn't even pick up blood. And so there's probably a real solid chance she won't die at all if she can get that arrow out, which I'm sure she could. It's the hard truth of bow hunting. A couple inches makes a difference between recovering an animal and not. it sucks. So when you pull that bow back, you take on a huge responsibility. I mean, you take the animal's life in your hands, and you know, hopefully it's for a good reason, not just to cause suffering to the animal, but to kill it and bring something home. And today that didn't work out. I've just caused that animal to suffer, and it sucks.
It's cold. So it's a week later. It was raining this morning and a cold front moved in, so Ben and I decided might as well try it out. A little bit windy. We seen some deer and small bucks chasing some does, but from my experience, wind kind of holds those big bucks down for a while. I don't know. It's just something kind of what I've gone off of. If there's wind, big bucks won't move. So I'd like to hear what you guys think. If you or anybody you know has had any luck with heavy wind, leave a comment down below with your thought. I'd love to hear from you guys. But we're gonna keep on hitting it hard, and hopefully we get lucky in the next couple days.
Just gonna rattle kind of softer, not too aggressive right now, because it's early in the rut, and honestly I don't know of any big giant bucks in here. I don't have anything really huge on camera. I'm really just trying to see if we can draw anything out at all. I doubt there's a shooter buck in here, but there might be. So when it comes to calling, it's kind of usually better to go with the idea of less is more. Because you can always call more later, but if you start out just hammering, you likely scare some stuff away. And I don't want to scare any does off either, so I'm just gonna lightly call it there, and we'll see if that produces anything. I probably won't call anymore tonight.
That's long. Oh, buddy. Oh my. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 broke off there, but almost brings tears to my eyes.
Wasn't sure about the shot, but it's been a couple years since I've gotten with my bow, but I'm speechless, honestly. Well, guys, I got lucky tonight. It's November 6th here in Iowa. This guy gave me the privilege to harvest him tonight. I was sitting there. I had about 10 minutes left of shooting light. And this guy showed up and he was heading the different direction. Well, I grunted at him, just a short little grunt, and he didn't really care. He kind of looked and kept walking. And then I did a long grunt. And he kind of stopped, looked, and he turned and came within 25 yards of me. I wasn't sure about the shot. I felt confident that I hit some vitals. I thought I hit shoulder. I found my arrow. I knew that I hit vitals. I wanted to find him tonight because, I mean, this is going to fill my freezer, and I didn't want it to go to waste. I have the utmost respect for this guy. His life won't go in vain.
When you pull that bow back, you take on a huge responsibility. A couple inches makes a difference between recovering an animal and not. All right, well, tonight I finally killed a deer. It's been a long season. It's only November 10th. I went out this afternoon about 3 and it was very windy, and around 4:30 the wind started to calm down. I thought I heard something behind me and I looked and it was this buck. He was kind of walking away. So without looking, I grabbed my grunt tube, which has different settings on it for fawn, doe, and buck sounds, and so without looking, I put it up to mouth to grunt, and it was on the bleat. So I let out a bleat, and he looked at me, and he looked at me a while. Then I slid it up to grunt. I grunted just 2 little soft grunts, and he kind of changed his direction. He came by. He stopped at 20 yards, so I shot, and he ran up the hill and stumbled around and then crashed out in the bean field here. That's how a deer is supposed to die, with the bow kill. Went right in front of you. You know 100% he's dead. He suffered very briefly. No meat loss. He's not the biggest buck. I'm really happy to get some meat in the freezer because honestly it's getting empty and I'm really needing some more meat. And you know, I've got this cool rack to commemorate the story. So all in all, I'm really pleased and I'm really grateful to this animal. I've been chasing these deer for over half my life now, and the lessons they've taught me carry on far from the last step of my tree stand. Things like patience, perseverance, tenacity, and humility are all qualities I've carried out of the woods and into all the aspects of my life. I wouldn't be who I am today if not for these deer. Archery hunting can be wonderful and painful. It can fill you with hope and excitement and anxiety and disappointment, not unlike most things in life. However, in the month or so long whitetail rut, all those emotions and feelings just get condensed into a short time period. It can feel like hunting a deer is so much more than just hunting a deer. And that's because I think it is so much more. It's a reflection of any goal we pursue in our life. It shows that it takes discipline, hard work, and sometimes just dumb luck to reach the objectives we are after. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. These deer are the best teacher I've ever had, and I hope to continue to learn from them every year for the rest of my life.